Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Carter. I love talking about movies, comic books, superheroes, and horror movies. And on the topic of horror movies, since it's almost October, I have been binging a ton of horror movies. One movie that I have been actually really excited to check out because it's been getting a lot of buzz in both festivals, and now that it's released somewhat wide, it's been getting a lot of buzz there, is The Substance. It's written and directed by Coralie and stars Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley, and it follows a woman who is an aging actress who wants to have a younger, better version of herself, and she's recommended this experimental drug which creates a younger version of herself with some caveats. And just getting right into the positives of this film, I thought that far and away Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley just absolutely killed it here. They are both so good. Demi Moore is really good at just playing this desperation as this aging actress who is just getting all this crap thrown at her, opportunities taken away at every turn, like all these little things just piling up and building up. And I think that the script actually does a great job of building that up, especially in the first half, of when you really understand her motivation for taking the substance, for taking this horrifying experimental drug that she has no idea what it's going to do. It says it's going to create another version of yourself, like some random nurse recommended it to her when the doctor left the room. Just very sketchy stuff. And she keeps pushing and pushing, and you kind of understand why as you see her reasoning, you see her point why. I thought Margaret Qualley did a great job of playing that younger version of herself very well, very driven, very determined to have everything that she wants, and I actually really dug her performance. I thought both actresses did a great job of just giving it their all, both in physicality and just performance-wise, whether that be delivering dialogue, small actions that they take. I actually really enjoy their performances, and it elevated the film quite a bit. I also thought Dennis Quaid was so fun in this, like fun in the worst way possible, to where he's just over the top, overbearing, just so comically evil. And the camera angles that they take when it comes to his character, just focusing in on his mouth or using like a 24mm, like a wide angle lens, and he just walks right up to the lens and is speaking to the lens, like on the phone in front of the lens, and it just focuses on every inch of his face. I thought that was really funny and really entertaining, and it did a great job of just kind of hammering home this point and these themes of aging, especially in women, when it comes to either how we as society treat them or how we have our beauty standards within Hollywood and for celebrities, and how it just kind of within the entertainment industry, I'm sure that they are just treated so terribly. And this film just did a great job of kind of really just shining a light on everything that goes on, and it doesn't pull a punch when it comes to that. It was very brutally honest, very, I'm assuming, realistic, at least in the first half, and kind of just like hammering home why Demi Moore's character takes the substance and why she is like so desperate to have this younger, quote, better, unquote, version of herself. Everything like that. I thought that the themes, especially in the first half, were very strong, and it was reinforced really well by small camera cuts, whether that be lingering on a note that says like, "You were the best," like, "We loved you, thank you so much for being with us," and it just lingers on "were," or how it shows. There's a few shots in here that focus explicitly on Demi Moore's butt and Margaret Qualley's butt, and how it's like more full when she's young. And I thought that the first maybe 2 or 3 times they did that was pretty impactful. The first 2 or 3 times. I think it does get a little redundant very quick. And I think that the practical effects work was pretty good as well. I think there's a little bit at the end that really doesn't look good for me. Like the ending shots just felt so out of place and so really corny to me. It took me out of the movie quite a bit. My biggest positive was just that first half. From the start of the movie, how it started just with a nice time lapse of kind of just showing through visual storytelling Elizabeth Sparkle's rise and fall, so to speak, of her level of stardom and fame within the entertainment industry is just shown really well in that first sequence. The first half of the film really worked for me to where a level where I was like, this is incredible, one of my favorites of the year. And like I've kind of been alluding to this whole video, it does a switch in the second half. I can't pinpoint really when it happens. For me, it was when Demi Moore's character opens up a recipe book and just gets really into like cooking different foods and just kind of focuses on like the grossness of food. It just felt kind of comical to me. The film became essentially, to me, a parody of itself is what I felt like. And I understand this is probably a controversial opinion, especially considering all of the praise and love I have seen about this film the last couple of weeks. But honestly, my mix and my negatives probably just going to be like one big thing, to where the film really in the second half, all that smart writing, all that smart editing kind of just became really redundant and unclear. Like the editing just kept going back to the same shots of Margaret Qualley's butt. And I understand why they did it, but I think that it just felt redundant after a period of time. And myself, I personally got tired of the like fake out dream sequences that they'd have that didn't really make any sense to me, just kind of like tripping you up, like, oh, this is her, you know, psyche going into the substance. I didn't care for that. I felt like sometimes it could come out of nowhere and feel corny and kind of take me out of the film quite a bit. I also think that the editing in the second half is just so much more quickly paced, to where it almost made me feel like I was getting whiplash from one scene to another, where there's so many quick cuts in a scene, and it just feels like missed opportunities in that second half, to where I could see what they were going for. I would see where there was like so much potential, and I was really on board, and then it just essentially became a parody of itself, to where I felt like the dialogue, every little thing just kind of slipped and slipped and slipped, and it was a slow and steady just downturn, to where I ended up walking out actually disappointed from this film. Ending really unmade the film for me, to where it just kind of goes off a ledge into what felt like for me schlocky B-movie territory, to where they had this really smart and really interesting film playing with the themes of how women see themselves, or how society treats older women or aging women, especially in the entertainment industry. Like focusing on that was so smart, and then it kind of just like goes totally on the nose in the last act of the film and just goes so over the top, so schlocky, to the point where I wasn't like disgusted or like unnerved. I was just like annoyed. I was like, this isn't like gross, this is just like dumb. To me, it just felt, it didn't work for me. It didn't click for me. And I'm probably being overly negative on this film. I know a lot of people really enjoyed it, but that's just my opinion, to where I feel like the last act, the last half of this film really just dropped the ball for me, to where all that interesting writing and interesting kind of back and forth between Margaret Qualley and Demi Moore was just kind of lost. I don't know, I felt like it just kind of lost its way in the second half. It was a really bad spot, to where it actually left me with a really bad taste in my mouth. I loved the first half, honestly. It was really, really psyching me up, and the second half lost me so much, in fact, that I'm really gonna give this like a 4.5 out of 10. I feel really bad giving it the score. I don't ever want to walk into a movie disliking it. I never want to like actively dislike a film, but here we are, where The Substance is probably my most disappointing film of 2024. Have you guys seen The Substance at all? Have you heard anything about it? If so, did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know down in the comment section below, and enjoy the rest of the video. Anyways, that's about it for me. So, as always, take care and have a great rest of your day.